Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick update. Blizzard, there was a lot of concern on Reddit for the last couple weeks about a variety of topics, and Blizzard said that they would announce a change and where they're planning on taking the game over the course of the next season or two. So I wanted to do a quick summary of what they've said as well as my opinions on it. So, to start off, this is on April 12th, 2018, and that's when I'm making the video, but I might not actually publish it until tomorrow, but I'm not really sure yet. Alright, so with MMR and matchmaking, what they've been doing is they've been basing it more off of queue times and less about match quality. And so they've been focusing more on faster games, which means that you're likely get into a group that has ranging skill levels. So they are going to focus more on skill range rather than queue times, which should be pretty good. It'll increase the match quality, and people can just watch Netflix in between queue times or whatever. They're including a MMR and rank decay for people who play fewer games in a season, as well as for people who don't play in a certain season and then come back 3 or 4 seasons later, and they still get ranked at the same place that they were at last time. They haven't explained what the decay rate is yet, so personally, if I get decayed in a 3-month season, I'm going to be a little upset. However, if they make it to where if you skip one season or you only play like 10 games in a season, and you keep getting ranked in like Diamond 3 every single season since the game began, then it's a little unfair because we don't actually know where you should be because you're not playing enough for your MMR to be adjusted. So I like this system as I feel like it's going to mitigate a lot of the people who are consistently in the ranks that they're at and they're not actually playing enough to make a difference or see where they truly belong. And that's why we're having a lot of problems in Hero League, especially in higher ranks where we'll have people who get placed in Masters 1000 every season because they got lucky one season and now their MMR is not changing enough because they're not playing enough. So I think this change is good as long as it is done correctly. And it'll allow it to where people who haven't played in like 6 months who come back they won't get placed in like Masters 1000. They'll likely get placed more likely in a lower rank and they'll have to rank up. The downside to this is that if it's too fast of a decay rate, I personally only give myself 2 weeks to play ranked. My reason is because I get very addicted to ranked. So if I'm playing ranked for more than 2 weeks, I'm not doing other things that I need to be doing, like I go to school and I also work. So it's less time on things that I have to be doing and I have to spend more time playing a video game. So I don't want to have to stress over this. So the decay rate's really going to change my personality on this, or my opinions on this particular topic. Then they want to bring back performance-based matchmaking. They found that there was a couple issues last time. If you don't know what performance-based matchmaking is, what it does is your MMR will be adjusted by how well you did in the game, not based off of whether you won or lost. Or, well, you get about 100 points based off of if you won or lost, and then there's an extra 50 to 100 points that you can get based off of how well you did on that game. So, for example, when you win a game, you normally get 200 points. But let's say you were the reason that you won the game, you would get 250. And let's say you lose a game, but you still played really well. When you lose, you would normally lose 200, but say you did really well that game, you'd only lose 150. This allows you to have a 50% win rate, but if you're always doing well, you're going to move up in rank even with a 50% win rate. There's a lot of debate on this system, whether or not this is good or whether or not this is going to cause people to just pad their stats and play heroes that the stats feel are good. Because, for example, when I play Artanis, my kill to death is very low. Just because I often swap, get a kill on who we need, and then I might die, but we might have killed the support that we needed to win the fight. So it's a little debatable because it might make people discouraged from playing characters that have bad stats. So it really comes down to how they do their stats. In Overwatch, they have a system where they can figure out when a good play was made. So maybe if this system can figure out when a good play was made and you're the one that's initiating those plays, for example, you get a mosh pit that hits 4 people, it might bump up your rank score whether you win or lose because you kept getting good mosh pits. I don't really know how this is going to do it, and this is still a debatable topic, so we will see. In theory and on paper, it's a great idea. In practice, we'll have to see. And this also, they're changing it as a result. When performance-based matchmaking returns, it will no longer adjust points totals for Grandmaster and Master League players. This is nice because when you get up to Grandmaster and Master, they want people to pick who's best for the match and not anyone who's going to be padding stats. So there's a variety of other things that make this really good. So, and it'll make sure that people won't pick a specific role that might appear higher, because in the higher ranks, a lot of times people like to one-trick roles. In ranked play, what they're changing is they're making the placement matches less relevant, and they're making it to where the more games you play in a season means the less ranked or the less placement matches you're going to have to play in the next season. I really like this, because if you play 10 games and you get placed, that means that you could have just gotten lucky in those 10 games. So the next season they're going to give you another 10 games. But if you play like 250 games in a ranked area, you're about where you need to be, and there's no point in having a placement match. So I love this. This makes it to where the Masters players don't have to always just stomp Diamond players every season after placing Diamond 3. Like, we remember the first couple seasons, all these Grandmaster players, the first I would say 2 to 3 weeks of a season, Diamond 3 was the worst place to be, because you'd have players who actually deserved to be in Diamond 3, and you have Grandmasters who were just stomping these players. So the game quality was really, really bad. So I really like this change. I think this is an amazing change. New and returning player seeding. This is changing how people are seeded when they come back to games. As we know before, it was based off of Quick Match, and that made it to where people who just played decently in Quick Match would get placed high in ranked. But Quick Match, as we know it, teaches really bad habits. So I really like how they're adjusting this, and they're looking at other ways to seed people into ranked without them getting stuck on their Quick Match results. Because we were seeing a lot of people that would just do decent in Quick Match, end up in Diamond, and have no idea how to draft or how to play, and we would end up having these really weird games. So I like that they're doing this as well. Overall, a lot of the changes they're making are going to be fixing the high-level play, and we're going to see a lot more pro streamers coming back to the game, as the game quality is going to be a lot higher with the players who are actually in the high ranks. As well as this might help in lower ranks as well, because this is changing the seeding, so we won't have some really weird things happening in silver for people who deserve to be in like bronze. And for those who are in bronze, you might see that you can move up a little bit faster, because the people who deserve to be in bronze are actually going to be there, and not some really odd things because you lost like 5 placements and got shoved down in bronze. So if you don't deserve to be in bronze, you'll likely move up faster, as well as the people that are in higher ranks will likely deserve to be there. Overall, these rank changes are going to be pretty good. There's a few that are questionable that we'll have to see. Hero bans and swaps. They're adding another ban at the middle of the area. I personally was looking for another ban to be added at the top, the first bans, but we'll see how this works out. It's kind of a mix of both, of the people who believe that we needed more bans and the people who believe we didn't need more bans. Throwing more bans in the middle, I think, answers both of those questions very easily. They're also introducing hero swaps, but they said that it's going to be at a much later time. I'm iffy on hero swaps. I don't own the full collection of heroes, and I usually don't buy the new heroes until they hit 10,000 gold, which means for the first 2 weeks, I'm not going to be able to swap with anyone if I'm first pick, because I won't own the hero. So I'm always debating hero swaps, but I do like the idea, because oftentimes there's strong heroes that should be picked first on certain maps, and even if you don't play them, you don't want to be put at a disadvantage because your team doesn't get the opportunity to take them when the other team might have a player who can play them in first pick. So I think hero swaps are a good thing, but it is something that is worrying for me as someone who doesn't buy the new heroes the first week that they come out. New hero balance. They talked a lot about how Maiev and Phoenix came out way too powerful, and they agree. And they talked about how sometimes they release new heroes that were weak, but what they try to do is they like new heroes to hit ranked early so that they can get that real feeling of how strong they are. They said that adding a third ban might fix the problem of overpowered heroes. I don't know. We will see. I usually am someone who recommends bringing out a hero a little bit overpowered, and my reason for it is because people are still learning the hero. So as they learn the hero, it gets stronger and stronger. We saw this with Junkrat, where Junkrat was initially released, and without very many changes, his win rate shot up. And we want to do something similar to that, where once people understand how to play the characters like Junkrat, their win rate is going to shoot up. So I'm okay with people being released a little strong and then tuning them down every week for a little bit. But what happened with Maev and what happened with Phoenix is that honestly that's too much of a problem. So if they keep releasing heroes this strong, we will have an issue. But they do say that they agree and they're going to be working on that. So I at least like that they're looking at that. New heroes in ranked. A lot of people were asking that new heroes shouldn't be available in ranked, but they said that that's how they test out their ability. It's data that they feel is critical. I like that. That's good. Toxicity and reporting, they are going to be ramping up their actions. They're going to be giving more penalties to repeat offenders, and they're going to be doing more on non-participation and intentionally dying, which was kind of something that in the past wasn't really reported on. Now they're going to be penalized with a variety of different penalties. So that is pretty solid. They don't mention much about supports. They don't mention much about the amount of assassins or anything like that. But I will say in the past, they did do an announcement about how they are going to be trying to release more supports in the future to make it easier, as well as to increase the amount of supports. Because as it is right now with 3 bans, our problem is that people can ban all the supports and leave people with really off-meta supports, which kind of wins the game. So if they start releasing a lot more supports, that solves the problem of 3 bans, and I think we're going to be in a really good spot. Overall, I'd love for people to, or I'd love to hear what people think about this announcement. I personally am encouraged, honestly. I like a lot of the changes. I think it's going to fix a lot of the match quality in a few reasons. I am skeptical about the rank delay as well as performance-based matchmaking. I'm also skeptical about new hero swaps. But yeah, other than that, I'm pretty optimistic about these. I like the changes. I like the announcement. I think it was really good. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it in below, and I will add a link to this in the description below so everyone can read the full thing, not just the summary. Thank you so much for watching, and I have a few other videos that I want to try to get out next week, so be prepared. Next week we'll probably have a lot of videos. Thank you.